Amazing. Let's get started. So welcome everyone. Thank you again for joining us. My name's David Tuck. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mayday and of CFO Tech Stack. I'm an accountant by training. I've twice been a Xero using finance leader, scaling multi-entity groups. I've been an accounting tech entrepreneur for over a decade now. I was previously the founder of Chaser, the accounts receivable solution. I've been building Mayday now for the last 3+ years with my co-founder Griff and our amazing team. Now, at Mayday, we're for larger Xero users. The majority of our customers have in-house finance teams. Our mission is to mend month-end, starting with the needs of multi-entity businesses, intercompany recharges, cross-entity bank rec, keeping your intercompany loans in balance. And we've been around for 3 years now. We won the Xero Emerging App Partner of the Year award back in April last year, and off the back of that, did a shamelessly titled webinar, Mayday, What's All the Fuss About? And off the back of that webinar, it really kind of became clear to us that there was a broader need we were addressing around, is Xero still the right system for me to scale with? And if yes, how long? Indefinitely, or when will be the point at which I outgrow it? And the nature of uncertainty is that when you don't know something, it leads you to act earlier. The ERP move, as one of our customers described it, is horrible and hectic. It's incredibly expensive, and 58% of ERP implementations fail. We've got this idea of ERP peace of mind, the peace of mind that you can continue to thrive and scale with Xero well into your growth phase as a business. But there's been an absence of precedent. So too many businesses make the wrong decision. They sleepwalk into an ERP move in the absence of that precedent. So last year in September at Mayday, we did this Building an Enterprise Level System with Xero webinar series. All of the different sort of, pro-finance pain points of being an in-house finance team scaling with Xero across things like accounts payable, spend management, and a multi-entity month end with Mayday. And that got a phenomenal response, over 800 attendees. And off the back of that, we created CFO Tech Stack with the mission to kind of create the weave source I wish I'd had as a finance leader, the content and community to address that unmet need, to bridge the awareness gap and demystify and show what it's possible to do in thriving with Xero and its ecosystem, and ultimately to provide that precedent. CFO Tech Stack's now 9 months old. We have a weekly newsletter that gets an incredible response. We've got the FLAC, the Finance Leader Advisory Councillors, the representative body of finance leaders that use Xero, and we're thrilled to have Parish as an amazing member of that kind of body. And yeah, watch this space for Stacked coming September the 12th in London as the equivalent of XeroCon for in-house finance leaders. And you've got about 10 days left to get your early bird tickets for that. If you go to the kind of the CFO Tech Stack website. Now, this webinar came off the back of a Xero for Groups webinar series that we did in March, which got over 600 registrants, an amazing response. And we were so privileged to have Annie join for the launch webinar, along with Alex, the UK and emerging markets MD at Xero. And on that launch webinar, it was a real revelation about how groups of companies could use Xero HQ as a product to address really kind of critical needs. And I know, Anna, you were sort of inundated with messages and people seeking to find out more about Xero HQ off the back of that. And so we thought, let's put it into a webinar all of its own. So really, really thrilled to be joined by Annie and Parish this morning. That's quite enough from me. I'm going to hand over to the stars of our show for them to do their intros. And Annie, if I could go to you first.
Thanks, David. Yeah, really excited to be here. My name's Annie. I am an account manager at Xero for franchises and groups. I've been at Xero for 5 years now, actually celebrated my Xeroversary this month, which was lovely. And previously to this role, I was actually looking after our traditional partners, which are our bookkeepers and accountants that have joined the partner program. And one of the benefits of the partner program is that you get to use Xero HQ. And then what we did when I started this new role was look at all of the features that bookkeepers and accountants have access to and seeing what features franchises and groups could also utilize, and one of them being Xero HQ. So what I'll do today is I'm going to walk you through using Xero HQ from a group's perspective and some of the benefits and some of the efficiencies that you can gain there. I think that Xero itself has just got so many efficiencies for finance teams to use, and Xero HQ, really, if you use the two together, is just really like the icing on the cake. So really excited to be able to show you all of those benefits.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Annie. And Parish, could I just hand over to you for a brief intro?
Yep, so I'm Parish. I'm the head of finance at Altinet London. I've been on Xero for 6 months. So before Xero, we were using Sage Intacct. We were looking for a system that, one, is more cost efficient, but also has the efficiencies that Annie's mentioned. And we moved over to Xero after my conversation with Annie and her telling me about Xero HQ and how that works across the group. So that's me.
Amazing. And Parish, just for our audience to have a bit of context, how many entities are you as a group at Altinet?
So currently we've got 47, but it's currently growing. So there are more companies added on, and we're not just a media and a media enterprise, we're also property, we're a charity. We've got different sectors, which is good because Xero can cover all industries, which is really helpful.
Amazing. Well, look, Parish, thank you so much for joining us today. And I know we're going to come back to you to learn more about your specific story with Xero HQ shortly. But first off, Annie, what is Xero HQ and how can it be used by finance teams?
Great question, David. So basically, Xero HQ is a central hub for you to store and manage all of your Xero subscriptions. There's lots of features within Xero HQ that, again, will help you to streamline the way that you work with Xero overall. So if we just show the slide, I'll go through some of the summary of those benefits. So what it will do is it will simplify and standardize new organization setup. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you have a standard chart of accounts that you want to use across the group, or perhaps you want to use that in a few organizations, you can set that up once in Xero HQ. And then when you start a new subscription in Xero, you can pick from that, from your chart of accounts library, and then you're set up ready to go. That's really good when you're comparing and contrasting companies within your group. And also if you're using like a consolidation app, it's less mapping to do as well. The next one is a big one, actually. I get a really good reaction about this one. This is really good for those groups that have quite a few subscriptions with us. You'll all know, if you're in this position, how laborious it is to invite people into each and every subscription. But with Xero HQ, you can onboard and offboard staff really easily. So all you do is you onboard them, and then you can bulk assign subscriptions to that employee, or you can cherry pick. So really, really quick. You can generate custom reports to use across the entire group as well. So there's a reports tab within Xero HQ. You can, if you're used to using reports within Xero, but you edit them, what you can do is you can edit them now in HQ, store them in the library, and then make them available to use across all of your network. You also have access to an informative live dashboard as well, with some really key information without having to go into each individual subscription. So what I can do now, David, if you're happy for me to, I can jump into product and just show you how it all kind of works.
Yeah, amazing. Because I think, as a trailer, I can confidently speak for our audience that was positively mouthwatering. So yeah, that would be amazing.
Brilliant. Okay, so can you see my screen okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking this way. I'm not ignoring you, but my screen's over here. So yeah, when you first jump into Xero HQ, you'll land on the clients tab. So obviously in this context, the clients are your organizations. And you'll see some columns here immediately. So you've got the bank feed expiry column. So this is really good. And what the feedback that I've got is it's really handy when you don't log into certain subscriptions on a regular basis, so you don't get that in-product prompt to say that your bank feed is about to expire. And the heart of Xero is that bank feed, so it's crucial that it's always kept live. And this will tell you if it's about to expire, so you can pop in and just reconnect it. You've also got this unreconciled items column, a really good way to do your to-do list. So you can actually sort by columns here as well. So if I clicked here, it would send all of the unreconciled items to the top. I would just go into those subscriptions. I could bring everything up to date, and that's it done. It's cleared down. And then you've got your financial year as well, which is handy to see. You do have another columns section here. So if I click on here, you'll see that I can toggle different bits of information on and off. But I would say for groups, these are like the main headings that you would need, and obviously easy access to all of the subscriptions as well. So next, you've got the reports tab, like I spoke about. So like I said, if you are in the habit of editing our reports, you'll know that you'll have to do this in every single subscription. But with Xero HQ, not only have you got a library of new report packs to choose from, you can actually create your own. Really easy to do. You can either edit the ones that we've already created for you, or you can create your own from scratch. So all you would do is, beside new template, just click there, the down arrow. You can click on new template or copy from. If you click on new template, you can build a bespoke, like a blank report, we call it, where you're building it from literally scratch, or you can pick from all of the different reports that you'll find in the Xero subscription and create a report pack. And then, like I said, you can make that available across your whole network. I'm going to skip over the Ask tab, simply because if I just briefly tell you what that is. So bookkeepers and accountants would use the Ask tab to send out queries to their clients. So for example, at the end of the year, if they wanted to get receipts, they could, with one click, send out a request to all of their clients, send me your receipts, and everything would come back and be stored in HQ. In a group context, I can't think of how that could be used, but I could be wrong, and it's there if you want to use it. This is the staff tabs. This is what I was saying I get quite a big reaction from. So I remember a couple of weeks ago when I onboarded a new partner, and in that call, their new employee had joined, and I felt so bad because literally the day before, the partner had invited that new employee into over 50 subscriptions individually, and I showed her how she could have done it in one click. So her face was, I'm very excited for the future, but very disappointed for the past. So yeah, you can just simply invite staff in using this invite staff, fill out their information, and then once they're invited in, you can assign them clients in bulk or cherry pick. Also, I should have mentioned within the clients tab, you can group your clients together. So let's say, for example, I'll just jump back into clients. So let's say, for example, you have a group that have got different types of organizations, like these are all to do with properties. I could assign these to the properties group. And then when I assign staff, I can actually just pick by group if I wanted to. So somebody manages all of the property organizations, let's say. Right, let's move on to the practice tab. So within the practice tab, I would say there's just a couple of options here that are relevant for groups. You've got the chart of accounts and then connected apps. So if we click on chart of accounts, so we have a library of different charts of accounts that you wouldn't normally see if you're a direct user of Xero. So we've produce these for you. If you're a direct user, you would just get our standard chart of accounts. But if you have a bespoke chart of accounts, you can actually just edit. We would recommend that you edit one of ours instead of building it from scratch, but you can do either or. But edit one of ours, so you would download it, change it, and then you can re-import it. And then it's there sitting, waiting for you to start a new organization. Like I said, that's really good when you're trying to compare the different companies within the group and for consolidation purposes. Next, I'll just show you how quick and easy it is to set up a new subscription within Xero. So all you would do is click on Add Client, New Client. You would pop in the name, click Create, and then you click on Create Xero Organization. Most of the information will be pre-populated, but this is where you would choose from that chart of accounts. So if you set that up, you can go ahead and pick whichever chart of accounts you want to use. And then once you click start trial or buy now, that's everything done for you. You're ready to go. So that's a quick tour of Xero HQ and the main functionality that groups find really beneficial for their finance teams.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Annie. That was, yeah, that was absolutely great. And even I wasn't aware that there was the ability to sort of subgroup within your group. And I can think of, some of the groups we work with, particularly where you've got sort of franchisees and you might have your owned locations as well as your franchisee locations, and therefore you want to have different team members who access different subgroups. So that is amazing.
Yeah, when I speak to groups and I'm showing them this, there'll always be little things that they say, oh, actually, we can use it in this way. And I find out something new about how a group's using Xero HQ. But yeah, it's really good that we can give them just a little bit more efficiency within their teams.
And I love your story of sort of, I'm excited for the future, but I'm annoyed about the past. That really does encapsulate, I think, what we see like time and again with some of the groups that we work with that are thriving with Xero. There's an element of simultaneous like fury and elation about what they are able to do versus what has been the reality previously. And Parish is an example of this with moving over from Intact to Xero. Got a business, Kathy, who's moved over from NetSuite to Xero, Kim, who's moving over from SAP to Xero. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing to be able to share just what is possible with Xero and its ecosystem as a group. Annie, thank you so much for sharing that. Parish, I'd love to come to you now from an Outernet perspective, and just really start by, if we could go back to the very sort of beginnings of your story and the decision and process to move from Sage Intacct to Xero as a company, and then we'll come on to sort of Xero HQ as a second step. But yeah, would love to dive a bit more into your story, because having got to know it, it's an amazing one. Yeah, what was the process you went to decide to make that move?
So when we were looking for a new system, so our new CFO Simon came in, and he suggested Xero straight away. I did a bit of digging and looked at Xero, went to their contact center, contact tab on their portal, asked them a few questions, and then I kind of stopped looking because I thought it couldn't manage groups. So I kind of left it for a few weeks. Then looked at QuickBooks and looked at other options out there. And then I spoke to David when I got told about Mayday via the contacts as well. And then that's when I got introduced to Annie and got a demo of the Xero HQ. And that's when it was like, okay, now we can actually use it. Like now I could switch on the Xero mindset. And then everything just fell into place after that. So it kind of was I wasn't going to use Xero until I got to see the Xero HQ part.
Amazing. And so yeah, like talk to me a bit more about your story, like how you're now sort of 6 months into the Xero implementation. How has Xero HQ helped?
So we've got a load of efficiency. So we've got savings in people time. Our reporting is coming out much better because we're using other add-ons, but we're using it as a standardized across all entities. With Xero HQ, what we've currently got is that the columns that Annie showed are the exact columns that we've kind of got set up. So the bank feed expiry date, the reconciliations outstanding, and I use that as my checklist for the team to say, okay, what is the issues with these bank recs? Like, let's check them off together. How can I help? Sort of thing. So it is a good way to double check, so you don't have to go into each bank account or each reconciliation and just check. So it's helped build efficiencies, and it's allowed us to have better control over our bank recs and everything like that. One of the other features was the chart of accounts, where you could have a standard chart of accounts that could apply across all entities. And because we do different industries, you would need chart of account codes which don't specifically go into, like, a property company doesn't go to a charity. So it was able to customize the chart of accounts in a way you could do that. That was great to have. So yeah, so it's helped build a lot of efficiencies within our team.
Amazing. Amazing. And so, because I know you've added a few new entities since you sort of started with Xero. So I imagine that's been a much less painful process armed with Xero HQ than it might have been.
Yep, it was so much more simpler. Um, and plus the incremental cost isn't as dear as it used to be on Sage Intacct. But using the chart of accounts feature of being able to apply a chart of accounts to those entities, it made it more streamlined, and easier to do.
Amazing. And look, my sort of final question on this front, Parish, is like 6 months in to kind of your migration over to Xero, and it's been amazing to see the way you're sort of thriving with its ecosystem and Xero HQ within that. Any words of advice to our audience?
So I think I said this on the last webinar, but I think there are loads of groups out there that are in a similar position. Annie's introduced me to a couple, which just want to have a chat about how we're using it within a practical environment. So there's help out there. So always reach out to anyone who you may think is using it, or Annie, who will be able to put you in contact with people. But in essence, I think the reason why it's gone so well is because there is that support behind you as well. So you've got Annie, you've got the support team, and they're always there to support you throughout the whole process. So if you have any questions of can Xero do this or Xero HQ do that, like you can actually go and bounce ideas off everyone.
Amazing. Well, look, I mean, I think just to sort of, just to summarize from my perspective, like I've been absolutely blown away by the impact Xero HQ has been able to have. Like, Annie will know from firsthand experience the number of people that I've sort of introduced to her that we work with. And honestly, you talk about kind of net promoter score, but just, how effusive and thrilled they've been, both with the benefits that they've been able to access from Xero HQ, but also, the quality of support that they've received from Annie. So it's been an amazing opportunity to kind of share and have a demo of Xero HQ today. We've seen the ones that really stand out for me are the like. I'm a 50 entity group and I have a new team member. Honestly, like how much, because it's not just, the 50 lots of the same job, but it's what if I miss one? And then I've got needle in a haystack finding it. So that is just huge. And then also, rolling out the chart of accounts to a new entity. Like I think, all that sort of remains for me to ask is, Annie, as I imagine a lot of people will be in the situation of having watched the webinar today, what do they need to do next?
Yeah, so really easy. We've got a couple of landing pages that they can go to, and if they're happy and want to join the partner program, they can fill out the application form on there, or they can get in contact with me if they've got any questions, if they would like a meeting beforehand, a demonstration of anything, that's absolutely fine. I just want to say to yourself and to Parish, thank you so much for your kind words, but I also want to mention that behind me there's a great team. So although I'm giving the answers, it's probably not me that has the answers. We've got some great partner consultants that help with migration and any support, any training that groups need to move over to Xero. So yeah, it's just not myself doing all of this.
Amazing. And look, we'll leave that slide up on screen and dive into some of the questions that have come through. Johan asked, how do you get Xero HQ? Do you need to sign up for the partner program? I think hopefully, Johan, Annie's answer and the information on screen has addressed that. But if not, please, Annie.
Yeah, can I just say, so yeah, you would just need to sign up on the landing page that's on the screen. When you do sign up, it is completely free to join the partner program. There's just a whole load of benefits. Xero HQ is just one of those benefits, but on the landing page, it will go through all of the other benefits as well. So that's definitely worth a read. You get a free Xero subscription as well.
Amazing. So yeah, Johan, great question. Got the answer there. And then Jai asked, is this available in all jurisdictions? Calling in from Australia here. So, this is the power of Xero HQ, a bit of, Thursday evening in Australia. So yeah, Annie, if I can field that one to you.
Yeah, amazing. If you could reach out to me directly, Jai, that would be really good. Just to let you know that we have kind of pioneered it in the UK. So with other regions, they're kind of seeing how it goes with the UK first before they roll it out. But everything's been really positive. So fingers crossed they will roll it out. But what I can do is I can put you in contact with somebody from our Australian office and they can let you know next steps.
Amazing. And then I've got a question here saying, can you use the same chart of accounts across multiple jurisdictions? So the question asker, we've got companies in the UK, Australia, Denmark, and US. Can I have my standard chart of accounts that then rolls to those different territory Xero organizations?
Yes, absolutely. So within Xero HQ, it would house all of those different subscriptions in different areas. So if you remember when I showed you how to create a new subscription, you would just choose where you pay your taxes, so the country, and then you could still pick the chart of accounts from your chart of accounts library.
Amazing. Great. And then from John, nice. I think this is just, John is sort of sharing his experience of how he's seen people use Ask to send out requests to internal finance, not infernal, sorry, slip of the tongue. You can use Ask to send out requests to internal finance team members as part of month-end close, which I think is just another great reflection of how much power there is in Xero HQ for corporate groups to take advantage of.
Can I just add as well? Sorry,
yeah, go for it.
Sorry, David. So what I've seen, just in case we have any franchise networks on the call, with franchise networks, they do use Ask to send out requests to all of their franchisees, for example, to send in their royalty reports. That's another way that you could use it.
Nice, amazing, amazing. Well, look, that's been invaluable kind of content today, and thank you everyone for the great questions. I'll invite any final questions in the Q&A over the next sort of 60 seconds before we wrap up. But look, I think what comes through really clearly today is, as we try to get across in the social media and the emails out about this webinar, that Xero HQ is a real hidden gem if you are a group of companies using Xero. And as Annie points out there, the partner program that it fits as part of more broadly also offers kind of great benefits. So it's just another sort of demonstration of how Xero is an amazing place to thrive as a group of companies. So thank you everyone for joining today. A massive thank you to Annie for the great insights that you shared and the fantastic kind of demo. And I know there'll be lots of people eager to put themselves in the driving seat off the back of this. And also a massive thank you to Paresh for taking the time and being so generous in sharing your insights and the precedent of what you've been able to achieve, and really blazing the trail that you have in migrating your sort of 50 entity group over from Sage Intacct to Xero plus its ecosystem.
No worries.
Well, without further ado, I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, please do keep following, keep engaging with CFO Tech Stack. There's lots more to come.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.